evaluating the merit of ideas, evidence, or proposals that others present to you, remember that because no argument is perfect, all arguments have some weaknesses. Occasionally, the person making the argument tries to overlook these flaws in a hope that you and others will not notice. Often, the fear is that if you see a particular flaw in an argument, you will reject the entire idea. As a critical thinker, avoid the all-or-nothing approach to arguments. However, assess each argument according to its strengths and weaknesses. Let's take a look at the essential elements of exploring weaknesses. A scientific approach tests ideas and arguments to verify their correctness. If you cannot test an assertion, you cannot know whether it's valid. When you're presented with an argument, consider whether and how you will test the claims and premises. A well-crafted argument explains its subject clearly and presents claims that relate to the conclusion. If arguments are well presented, but their claims are not relevant to the conclusion, you cannot reasonably predict the conclusion based on the assertions because they're not related. If a claim is not relevant to the conclusion, you cannot discount the value of the argument. One argument is normally considered to be stronger than the other if it requires fewer assumptions. An assumption is the proposition or claim that you take for granted as though it were known to be valid. Dubious assumptions are unlikely to happen. Sometimes an idea, alternative, or solution is unique and turns out to be a creative breakthrough. However, in most cases, arguments should be consistent with their accepted ideas and observations. A critical thinker compares information to other data and looks for incompatibilities and inconsistencies. Keep your eyes open for alternative explanations and rationale. When someone suggests that X causes Y, don't immediately assume the statement is true. Ask yourself if something else might cause Y, or if it's logical to assume X is really the cause. Now for some do's and don'ts of exploring weaknesses. First, test claims. Do take a scientific approach by verifying ideas and arguments, but don't accept an assertion if you cannot test it. Evaluate relevance. Do check to make sure claims relate to the conclusion, but don't buy into an argument if it's well presented by the claims are not related to the conclusion. And consider consistency. Look for arguments consistent with accepted ideas and practices, but don't ignore ideas, alternatives, or solutions that might be unique and turn out to be a creative breakthrough. Take a look at these and other do's and don'ts of exploring weaknesses in the chart here or in your business problem-solving guide.